forward. I've talked to many of you guys individually about this. But really, I can't encourage you enough to take the time to do this. Natalie, you got anything else you want to say about that before we roll forward?
No, just that we, obviously, Annette and I would both have encouraged all of you to have a business plan before, but I think now you definitely need to be thinking about how you're going to pivot your plan moving forward and how you can, make it adjust to the time we're living in.
I'm looking for my file here so I can, I'd sure hate to send you guys something I didn't mean for you to see. I think that's it. The business plan, the agenda that we're following for this. So I just put it over in the comments in case you did get it attached to one of your emails that you can look at. As a show of hands here, raise your hand if you, we're all in this together. There's no judgment on this. How many of you have a written business plan? Raise your hand.
How many do?
Yes, how many do have a business plan, a written business plan? Raise your hand.
I have one that's old.
We have one that's super old.
Okay,
Here.
very good. Let's see. Who else is on there? Gina, are you able to get on with video? Heather, are you able to get on with video? Let's check on them. Chat to us if so. So many of you have written this a while back if you have, but now's the time to go back and redo it. So I want you to look at this outline, and we're going to go through this outline, and I want you to be jotting notes to yourself. Here's what I want you to do. We've got this time. I want you to get excited about your business. I want you to be inspired. I want you to brainstorm on how to do things. In your room now, getting out a whiteboard and start jotting down all kinds of notes of different things you could be doing. This is the time to do that. And as you guys know, we can do it one-on-one as well. We can do a Zoom or a FaceTime or talk on the phone to do this as well. So we're going to go through this, but also we can do it one-on-one. Okay, look at the company description. How many of you have a mission statement? Raise your hand. A mission statement. Why do you have a mission statement? Why is that of any interest?
There's this.
Well, that's
Marshall. I'm calling you out. Why have a mission statement?
I did too.
Calling me out?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't catch the name. For us, it's basically the foundation for our vision statement. When we know our purpose, our why, if you will, then it allows us to create from that basis, that foundation, so that we can create a vision, so that we can then create the plan and the to-do list that go from there. So for us, the purpose is what governs everything, and that gets adjusted as we evolve too.
So the mission statement keeps you on a path. It's the why of why you're doing things. And we can go deeper if any of you want to work on that mission or vision, your company vision. We can work on that individually. We don't have enough time to go too in depth here of why you're doing this, okay? So we'll just say here, Natalie, we heard some background noise going on there. So Natalie went ahead and muted you, but you can unmute yourself because again, we want this interactive for all of us. Okay, so we talked about company vision, we're talking about business goals and objectives. The important thought about your business goals and objectives is you want those measurable with dates. You can see this as a to-do, you can see this as what you can achieve. How many of you have set measurable goals? And how many of you, I'm looking at you guys because several of you, I love this, I love your faces, because several of us have done this together. You've set your goals to achieve what, there you go, Kim, you have, very good. What's Laura? Laura is hiding. I first of all thought she was putting a sheet up to tell us, but no, she was hiding on this. So your goals need to be set for either monetary goals or how many client goals or how many outreaches, or for some of you, it's for sales. And so you're going to contact so many people a week for sales, because what happens is you all become the technicians, or you can allow yourself to become the technicians, and then you're not doing the managerial or the sales part or whatever you need to be focusing on the overall of your business. So I wanted to point out specifically, write business goals and objectives on that. I need to pull my chat up here. Nat, can you follow that chat while I'm talking and make sure if there's anything in there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I get on a roll here. Anything from the chat room that needs to be stated, Natalie?
Nope, we're good right now.
Okay. The other thing, part of a business plan, give a brief history of it, describe the legal structure, the proprietorship, the partnership, the corporation. Hopefully you guys have that all figured out, and licenses. So a couple things that's not on here that I wanted to speak to you. Wait, I want to see where he went because I was going to call on him. There he is. One of the things I advise for you guys to do is not doing it. Steve, I'm trying to unmute you, buddy. Unmute yourself. So one of the things I advise for business owners to do is have an advisory team. So how many of you have had an advisory team of some sort? Raise your hand if you've thought about doing an advisory team. Okay, so an advisory team, you can pick people, and it's not a paid position, it's not any of that. You're just having mentors or advisors gather to help you on your business. And people love to help. Keep in mind, people love to help. So Steve, you've done the advisory. Would you speak to it a little bit of how you've utilized it?
So I have 3 people that I've really called my advisors. One of them is looking at me crazy, Jeff. So I don't listen to him too much because he's got crap advice. But most of the time, they've been very, very good. A lot of the reason why I think the advisors are good is because they see things from a different perspective. So I've got my eye on the path, and they can see a bigger picture. They can see how it might affect me if I don't do something, or if I do it that way. They may consider, giving me some boundaries so that I don't get trapped, or I don't get backed up in a corner, just because I'm passionate about what I want to do. So that's the part of the way. I've used Annette sometimes as an advisor, just to, ask about, hey, do you have a resource for this, or how do I move forward in this area because it's something I'm not sure about. So that's how I've used them.
Yeah, so I want you to take just a couple minutes now, and I want you to write down 4 or 5 people who you would consider on your advisory team. Just take a minute to write them down, because I want you to be purposeful in utilizing them in helping your business. And for those of you who don't have a business, because I see a couple of you on here, think about this for your organization, or thinking about this for you professionally. Who are the advisors who help you with your nonprofit, whatever it is that you can attach this to? So once you have them written down, I want you to think about reaching out to them at some point, because as Steve said, they all give different perspective to your business. And so they have a different view from it, from a different angle, whether maybe it's a client or maybe it's someone farther down the path professionally. So think about those that you can add to your advisory team. And I think it's good if you list them in your business plan. Another thing, I'll give you a few. I see a few of you still writing on this. Another thing I want to to mention as we go along on this is it's also, some of you have seen SWOT analysis or use SWOT analysis somewhere along the line. I think it's important to do a SWOT analysis for your business too. So I pulled up here a share here of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So along with your business plan, either do this with yourself or with staff or this advisory team, is really take a look at what the SWOT is for your businesses. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your opportunities? And what are your threats? Some threats we can't predict, obviously, like we've just shown over the last month, but it's good to look at your business from that point of view as well. Okay, on the operations, so going down this line. So we're going down this. You know, I wish we could take half a day and do all this together where you guys would be able to write and type as we're going through this, but we can't. So we're just going through this and you're gonna have to work on it on your own. Again, make sure to reach out. We're happy to meet. I'm happy to meet with you, read it over, update it, whatever you need for this. Okay, operations. Specifically describe all your products and services. Now, what we want to talk about in this in regards to what our latest happenings is, you know, to analyze what your products and services were before COVID-19. All of you had those at one point, but now's the time to look and really analyze, but what brought in the most profit? What of your products brought in the most profit? Back when I had the convenience store, you know, we used to look at it regularly to see what our top selling products was. And then we would routinely get rid of the bottom products. So Mary in her webinar on Friday talked about cleaning out the underbrush. So now is your opportunity to analyze what works really well for your business and then clean out the underbrush on the other things. So, you know, whether it's the coffee shops, what was bringing in your profit? We see Sydney and Heather on here with coffee shops, and what wasn't. So how can you adjust your products and services? You know, for those of you who are more service orientated, you know, a lure for photography. Is there some things you were providing or doing that maybe wasn't, now that you look back, that wasn't bringing in the net profit? So change, adapt your products and services. Any thoughts or conversations on that? Let's see here. Anybody got any on that? Jessica, have you been able to take time and do that with what you were selling and doing, of analyzing really what was bringing in the profit and maybe what wasn't, so you can let it go? Jessica? There you go. You're on now.
Okay. I was unmuting and muting myself. I really haven't looked at what I can let go, but I think we're going to have a new model going forward since we're doing these at-home kits, because that was nothing we would allow before. And I thought maybe we wouldn't go, like once the workshop's back open, we wouldn't let these go out the door, but I think they've been so good that we will continue to do that. We're hitting a market that we've never gotten in the workshop, and maybe they will never come in the workshop. So this is one way to capture that audience.
So it's been able to expand what you thought about doing before. So that's good. Okay, let's look on here. So explain how your products and services are competitive. And here's, okay, then I'm going to jump on down in the operations. So in your evaluation, it's also the time to evaluate your staff and those that you use for your professional services, guys. You know, Jim Collins, he wrote the book Good to Great. How many of you read the book Good to Great? Oh, all your hands should be up on this. This is a great one. Jim Collins, Good to Great. And he talks about having the right people on your bus. So when you're looking at your staff, when you're looking at other professionals that you work with, whether it's your accountant, your lawyer, your banker, or vendors, any of that. Do you have the right people on your bus for making this successful for you? So now's the time. You know, it's good to list out strengths and weaknesses of your staff. Back when I owned the antique mall, I would do this routinely. I'd list my staff and I'd list what their strengths really are and what I knew their weaknesses were. And that's okay to have weaknesses, but it's important for you to know it so you can make sure you've placed them in the right position of your business, if you're allowed that, or to evaluate if they're the right people on your bus. So along with this, take the time to evaluate your staff and the people you do professional services with. Are they the right people for your bus? Okay, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Natalie, and Natalie's going to do the next couple sections. There you go, Natalie.
Hi guys, so we're going to talk a little bit, and I know you should have gotten the handout on target marketing, competition, marketing, and sales. So obviously this is the time, if you haven't, most of you have probably done it unknowingly, but if you haven't taken some time to really analyze this area now that we're going through COVID-19, I certainly would, because it definitely is going to need a pivot. How you're marketing, how you're selling, how you're talking to your customers, you're certainly going to have to reevaluate that. So some of you may have done it already. Some of you are maybe in the process of doing that, but I really would encourage you to think that through. So we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, and I would encourage you to jump on. We do have some calls if you feel like this is an area that you're weak, your sales, your marketing, or an area that you need to work on in your business plan. I would encourage you to jump on Wednesday at 10 with Dr. Frank. He's going to be doing a workshop on marketing. And then we have Mew on Friday morning at 10 talking about social media. So if you're looking at this plan and thinking through and you need some more help in those areas, I would encourage you to jump on Wednesday and Friday for those classes. So obviously right now, your messaging needs to be a little bit different for marketing. So what you originally had in your marketing plan for your messaging and what you were doing is probably all out the window right now. So I would encourage you to take some time to look at that, whether you're a nonprofit, an organization, or a sales business or retail. Everybody is going to kind of need to revamp that messaging at this time. Obviously, right now, those folks, I think of people like Dee, who are running a golf course. Obviously, right now, if your business is not able to be open and running, your message is going to have to be a little bit different than somebody who's still trying to push some sales through. So, you know, Dee, one thing for you, I know if you guys are a nonprofit or a service industry or somebody, people are not making decisions right now long-term. So if your marketing was more long-term, if your marketing a year ago would have been pushing kids to do PGA junior camp this summer, you might want to rethink that, because people aren't thinking long-term right now. They're making more day-to-day decisions. However, with that said, this is a great opportunity for you to still engage with your customers and have conversations and really build that brand awareness. So we know that right now, there's not going to be sales for golf stuff because they can't play golf, but we know long-term there might be. So how do you pivot that and really still engage with your customers and create that brand awareness so that when they are ready to come back, you have really positioned yourself to having great conversation with them? And honestly, right now, they have shown that in economic downturns, it can be a good time to continue to market, because you usually have less competition in the market space, and you can get more bang for your buck, and you can really create that conversation with your audience and try to build that engagement piece. So an example of this, there is an interior designer in Canada, and she has done a great job building her Instagram. So she has a fantastic Instagram, and she can't get into people's homes right now to do interior design. So what she is doing is she's actually having people post photos of your home. So like say you have an area that you just think looks funky and you don't like it, you can post your photo on her Instagram and she will actually give you free consulting and kind of say, hey, here's a color to try, here's a product to try. So this isn't really necessarily helping her currently, but long term, it's helping her build credibility and brand awareness, and she's being a part of the conversation. So everybody right now is doing COVID emails, and if that's right for your business, then feel free to do it. But I would think about it more of your business and what you have to offer to the conversation, like that interior designer. People are at home right now. They're thinking of their houses. So that's a place that she can be relevant and she can actually be in the game, building that brand awareness and making herself the expert, because people will remember her later when they do need some work because she helped them right now. So, think about that. If there's online classes that Dee could do to help you improve your golf swing, if she's doing some stuff virtually with folks, long term, when they're ready to do classes again, they're going to think of Dee. So think about it that way. If you're a service business, how you can be relevant in the marketing and engaging to your customers. So it's kind of shifting from a sales environment to a service environment. So how can you be of service to your community and to your consumers right now? Another great example for that is yoga classes. So right now is not the time to probably charge for yoga classes. It's a great time to provide a yoga class online. People are really stressed. People really want that and crave that ability to work out. So what a great time to build that community of people who want to be a part of yoga right now. When you're there for them now, then later you can have that built-in market to be able to do classes in person and charge for that service. But it's all about kind of creating that environment of community so that you are having that long-term engagement with your customer. Another thing I would encourage you to do, and it goes back to product, but make sure when you're doing marketing that you do know your customer and know what they want. I noticed over the weekend there was some viral stuff that went out about Bath and Body Works because they're really pushing apparently wash your hands and selling a lot of soap deals. And it went viral because people are saying, no, I'm at home with my stinky teenagers. Would you do some sales on candles? We don't want any more soap. We know how to wash our hands. So it's looking at your customers and figuring out what they want and not assuming that you know what they want during a pandemic. So really doing that shift in your conversation, how you communicate it, and really making sure that you're pushing the right product if you do choose to go down the sales route like a Bath and Body Works. So jumping into sales. So as entrepreneurs and small business owners, you guys are resilient. You are prepared for seasonal shifts. You get it. You know that you're going to have downturns and things are going to happen, and you're usually prepared for it. So unless you were Bill Gates, though, you weren't prepared for a pandemic. Apparently, that man can see into the future. But most of us were not prepared for this, whether we're a nonprofit or whether we are a service business or a retailer. None of us were prepared. So now is the time to do that sales shift. So we all want to keep our customers and our community safe, ourselves safe, but we also still need to make money. Let's be honest. So how do we shift that product and that sales and that message so that we can keep our business open and survive for the long term? So you definitely need to be sensitive, and this will go back to the market of what you're selling and how you're marketing it. Obviously, you need to be definitely sensitive. Like I said before, I think that I'm seeing the trends that sales are shifting more to service. There's a great article in Forbes right now about several companies who have done this pivot or this shift from more of sales to service. And I will send you guys that link afterwards. It's an interesting article that talks about several different companies and industries, but one of them was Park Place Payments. So she's a like a credit card terminal processor. That's what she does. She provides credit card terminals for clients. So she has shifted her business from selling and trying to help her customers get sales to helping them survive. So she's had to completely change her business model from more of that sales to service. So depending on the company that you're in, how can you do that for your business? And then there are several different things to think about. So I think of the story we shared over the weekend with Kevin's nails. So Jenny can no longer do nails. That is something that she really can't do from home. That's a hard shift for her. So she started, she looked at her employees, their skill level, and what resources were lacking in the community. And they've shifted from doing nails to face masks. So that's a completely different product for them, completely different customer for them, but talk about being resilient. And that is what all of you guys have. As small business owners, you're the most resilient people I know. So yes, this is a stressful time, but now is the time to also dig deep for that grit and that resilience and that creativity that you all have. And I know that you can pivot and come up with some ways to profit and give back to the community through your sales and marketing of your product and services. So a good example, and I know Jessica talked earlier, but I'm going to have her talk again. So Jessica, very early on, looked at her product and she knew that she was not going to be able to have people at some point in her business. So she looked at the homeschool market that people are now homeschooling. This is new territory for us. And how could she provide a service for that? So Jessica, do you want to talk just a little bit deeper about what product you're offering now and how you shifted your products for sales?
Yeah, so like you said, we have based our workshops off of people coming together and connecting, and that just wasn't going to be possible. And I needed a way to pay the rent. So we came up with this DIY kits to go. So things for people to do at home, and just people are going crazy with their kids, but also the moms. It was kind of funny. Once we loaded designs for the moms started ordering things too for themselves. So first we're doing curbside pickup, now just delivering and shipping, but then we also did some retail too, pens and markers and sketch pads, things that they just want to be creative and have stuff to do. And really, I think it's mental health. So.
Yeah. Well, good job, Jessica. That was a great example of how she has taken a product and been able to switch it and sell it and market it and still take advantage of the current climate with marketing and make that product available. And another example of that would be Room 108. So this goes back to Annette earlier talking about an advisory council. I would encourage you, if you're stuck in this area, of, okay, how do I sell right now? How do I sell in a way that is more, that is a conversation that it's acceptable? Because right now it's kind of a scary place to sell. So how do I make a product that's needed? How do I communicate that? How do I market it? And how do I not get that backlash from the community that this isn't an acceptable thing? So I think it depends on looking at your product and looking at your service and looking at your target audience. So using that advisory council to even just do some brainstorm. So I did this with Room 108. There was a group of us on a call and we just brainstormed. So we looked at their client base and what they normally serve, and we talked through what they could sell moving forward. So they're doing virtual wine tastings. So you buy the wine tasting as a kit ahead of time, and they walk you through with a sommelier a wine tasting. So it's a way for them to still serve and sell product, and it's also a way for them to stay very engaged with their customer. They're also partnering with one of our local caterers, Jalen and Ugly Duck, and they're doing meal kits that you can purchase, and then you do online cooking. So we talked about people are cooking now more than ever. A lot of people don't know how to cook, so how can you provide that as a service? So looking at doing online cooking classes to teach people how to cook, and now they have an extra meal in their wheelhouse. So really using that advisory team to think through, how can I sell this product in a way that it's a win-win? Because now I'm teaching people how to cook, and now I'm providing a service to folks so they're still feeling engaged and a part of a community. And we're doing that even at the chamber. You know, right now we've opened our webinars and different products and services to free for the community, because for us, it was the right thing to do. And that's about service versus sales. So that's a conversation that you need to have internally with your organization, but obviously it's an area that you need to pivot on your business plan. Okay, Annette.
So, you know, now that most of us are home, we're balancing family with work. We strongly encourage you, though, to still take time to be improving yourself as a business owner, improving your business. I also wanted to say, back to under target market and competition, another thing that's good to do is look at your competition. You know, with some of you, when you were starting your businesses, we did this together, but list out who your competition is and list their strengths and weaknesses, because it's important for you to know what else is out there and where you fit into this industry and this niche. You know, we mentioned Duncan with the Duncan Hills Golf Course. Okay, list out the other golf courses around. What are they doing strong and what are their weaknesses? You need to do that along with the SWOT that we talked about for yourself as well. Okay, and then the last thing we have on here is for the financials, which I know many of you do not the part you enjoy. So, but it's so important for your business. How many of you are totally happy with how much money you make off of your business, that you really don't need any more money off of your business? Raise your hand. Okay, right. So if you want to make more money off your business, you have to be good at your numbers. Even before COVID-19, you want more money out of your business, you have to be totally on top of your numbers. And for the most part, that's living by your budget. So, you know, most of you have seen these, but you know, we have the budgets here that you should have entered for your business, what your expenses are. And, you know, we have a couple different versions for those of you who's done this with me. Here's one that you can do, and you can also do one where you list your budget versus, and then come back in each month and do your actual. This is the one I most recommend, because you're taking time every month to enter what your actual numbers are versus your budget. So you can see if you've overspent, if you've underspent, if you're not high enough in your sales, because then that's what motivates you for what Natalie just talked about for marketing and sales as well, is knowing your numbers. So we could spend, for those of you who weren't able to join us on Shelley's workshop that was on earlier last week, that's a great webinar. Speaking of which, where's Mew at? If you're a chamber member, the webinars are listed on the Chamber of Commerce website. For those of you who aren't chamber members, you can also see them. Mew, where can they see them at? Can you unmute and tell us there?
So all of the videos that have been recorded, you can go onto the Craig School of Business Facebook page, and it'll be all posted on there, and pretty soon it'll be on our website as well at the csb-cfe.missouriwestern.edu. So.
Okay. Oh, I've had some of you just message me about the budget and the projection. Email me and I'll send you those copies and we can work on those together. One more thing I want to mention to you that I think is a good idea for you to keep in mind about your business. Even if it's just you need to treat this business as if somebody was hiring you to manage it. You know, I have someone that even has a business retreat for their business. They go away and they spend time with their whole staff, which is just them, and so that they can analyze and evaluate their business. So
I guess it's administrative office day or something.
Keep that in mind.
So
we hear something there.
Got her.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do next, guys. So that's the business plan. We want you guys to take time and work on that. What we're going to do now is we're going to send you into breakout rooms, and it's going to send you to small groups. You know, when I put on workshops, I love doing small groups because I want you guys talking together. So we're going to send you into small groups right now, and you're going to talk about, here's your different options. Here's what I want you to talk about. Share your vision of your company, pivoted your business, what are you planning to do for marketing and sales, and how are you using your budget to make your decision? So I'll share those once you get out to your groups. Can you remember those? You need them down real quick. Okay. Hey, Zach.
Hey, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to send you into breakout rooms, and you in your small groups are going to talk about those 4 topics. Okay? So, let's go. There you go. There you go. You're going to breakout rooms.
Hills. Who is everybody? Oh, there's Natalie. Are you going to be our guide, Natalie?
I am in your breakout room, yes.
Nice. How's Cash?
He's doing good, thanks.
I love what you said about the videos, because that's kind of, you know, I like to practice engagement marketing. I don't get as much practice at it as I need to in this new phase, but I started with some simple videos that I just dumped on video this week. And then I'm going to build lesson plans for my different segments. So for those PGA juniors, they're going to have some assignments. I just got to figure out how to use the different mediums. I don't know if Zoom is going to be an option. Like, I don't know. That'd be kind of complicated setting that up in a backyard. But
oh, do you know Jason Riley? He would maybe be a good resource for you, because you're both communicating with kids and adults, and I'm guessing that he's had to pivot and do some online classes and instruction. So you guys might connect at some point. I can send you each other's contact information, because you might be able to learn from each other in that area, because you're both providing kind of a instruction. He's doing music, you're doing golf. So that might be a good connection for you guys. Hi, Sydney.
Hey.
Hey guys. Thank you, Natalie. Please do connect us. And I've got to go meet a contractor, so I hate to miss out. But have a good meeting, everybody, and good luck. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Okay. Good to see you, Jason.
Bye.
Okay, and it looks like we have another person in our Mark is on here as well. He just doesn't have video. I'm assuming he can chat us though. Okay, dig in, guys. The first question is on vision. You're going to share your vision of your company. And are you pivoting your business? Go, Sydney. Yep.
Okay. So the vision with our company, I own Cafe Pony Espresso downtown, and I actually pulled out my old business plan just to see what I put down. But our vision has always been to coincide with the growth and development of downtown, and to strive to be a target destination when people do come downtown. Be involved in the events, be as involved as we can in that community, and just continue growing our name and our brand. As far as pivoting, we have had to do a lot of that. Technically, I could be open right now for curbside and delivery with food and coffee. And when the shelter in place was put into effect, I didn't feel right doing that. It wasn't the type of food and things that I considered essential enough for people to get out when they shouldn't be. And that was not an easy decision to come to at all, but we have pivoted. We are doing online bake sales twice a week. So I put an order form up. We take orders twice a week and then deliver twice a week. And we are doing tons of different kinds of baked goods, coffee beans, gift certificates, t-shirts, those kinds of things. And it helps. It's definitely a big pivot from having, a cafe full of people all day, every day, to 3 of us being there twice a week just to bake and put orders together. But it's working. As far as my budget to make that decision, thank God that baking things are fairly cheap. So I am still making some money. It's easy. It wasn't easy, but I got flour in bulk and sugar in bulk and things like that. So my cost is fairly low right now. So we are making a little bit of money. I will say between our 2 baked sales a week, that revenue equates about 1 good day in the shop.
Mhm.
So that's a bit of a hit, but we're doing it. People have been super supportive buying gift certificates and not using them right now. Buying gift certificates for future use, buying t-shirts, things like that we had that aren't costing me anything right now. So I am still able to keep a couple of my girls working at least, 10 to 15 hours a week, which is something I'm very thankful of. And not being in the shop, we are keeping our utilities lower and things like that. I've got everything unplugged that we aren't using. So, marketing and sales, was that a question yet, or are we waiting on that?
It is a question. You are welcome to plow through yours, or we can take turns, whatever.
Oh, I don't care. Go ahead.
Well, Mark doesn't have his audio or video yet, but he can hear us. So Mark owns an oil change business, and he's had to pivot his procedures. Customers are staying in vehicle during the entire process. They have not opened up any new business lines, but have stopped a few for a while during the crisis. Checking the cabin filter involves going inside a customer's vehicle. Old days, sure, now not going to do it. So he's had to pivot, some of the services that he provides, it sounds like. Okay, Dee, what about you?
Well, I've been like a bad 3-putt in golf. We were open, we were closed, we were open, we were closed. And I'm got my city manager hounding Andrew County commissioners this morning because, golf's open in New York City and it's the hot spot. So I think that with the national research that I've been gathering up, golf is actually going to be strategically positioned as a good activity to do. My TV still thinks I live in Minnesota, and I was listening to the news the other morning, and the little broadcast lady was saying how she's going to start playing golf because their gym is closed. There's no other sports to do or watch even yet, and golf is going to be the first professional sport back online. So I think that from that perspective, I'm going to be in great position. The access points for my different groups, so like with the kiddos, with the ladies, with new golfers, young golfers, that don't know how to play, I think I'm going to have to put some online courses on and then follow that with some leagues but leagues that don't follow our old model. Our old model of leagues were basically very social in large gatherings. And so we're having to adjust how the flow of play out onto the golf course so we can get fewer golfers out over time. So, but that's okay. We can still drink and play golf. Just can't drink afterwards or before.
Hey Dee, can I interject something? Something that you might think about, considering you are connected across the country in the golf course industry. You might see if they would share with you some procedures as to how they have been able to stay open and how they are being safe. Because if you could put some procedures together, like a plan, that might help your local government. So for
got all that.
Okay.
So that my professional organization's like the biggest sporting organization in the world. So I have, and my plan even has branding to it now. It's called Park and Play. And so I armed my city administrator up with that this morning.
Good job. Good job, girlfriend.
Yeah. And my old procedures are already on the website. So, you know, I actually got a trial run to see if the COVID guidelines, you know, would work. And they were really good. It was just a couple people that, you know, were party poopers that were angry and whatever. But I shored up that. But so my vision for the golf course really is to become a cornerstone in our community, and to be the #1 golf choice in this area, because we want to capitalize on that engagement and that community. So everything we do is about friends and families gathering and enjoying the day together. Like I said, that pivot, part of it is changing the flow up into the golf course and eliminating any bottlenecks. And then adding the online instruction, engagement, classes, things like that. My marketing and sales, that I was working towards. I hired that Susan.
Susan Campbell?
Yes. And we had a real strategic plan. Well, that got shit canned now, so we got to refocus that. And so, but that will be, you know, I like what you were talking about with the engagement. And I continue. I do a weekly newsletter. I'll up that more. I've upped my presence on Facebook. I'll up that even more. And then budgeting decisions. I've already been working with vendors. Like I stopped a whole mess of stuff coming in. Oh, are we supposed to? I took up too much time. I'm getting a message saying.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to return.
Yeah, guys, I'm a business consultant like Annette in Northwest Missouri, so I don't have a business myself. I just joined the call to see if any of my clients were on that I could assist afterwards.
Okay.
And Mark said he's got what he needs. He's good.
Makes my business plan change again. So.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Natalie. How are you?
I'm good, sweetie. How are you?
Good. Weathering the storm.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome back as everybody's coming back in from their breakout sessions. Isn't that cool?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Is that a feature on the control plan?
Yeah. Yeah, so on Zoom, that breakout session, that's a small group. So enjoyed doing that. Hopefully you had some good conversations with some of the others and you were able to talk through some of this. We're down to just a couple minutes. I would have liked to taken some time and heard more about what you guys talked about in your groups, but we want to keep it right at the hour for anybody who's got other things scheduled. So Natalie, any last comments for our wonderful group gathered here?
No, thank you guys. And if you need any assistance, please feel free to reach out to Annette. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to let me know. I know Kelly's on as well. So if you work with Kelly, please use her as a resource too. Thank you guys.
Yes, the last things we want to just say here is take time during all of this to keep improving your business and yourself.
Okay.
Business plan, be listening to podcasts, be reading books. If anybody needs some book suggestions, we can send you what the Cup of Joe team has done for their book reading that they've chosen. But keep inspired, keep energetic, and please let us know if we can help in any way. With you individually, just let us know.
And don't forget about Wednesday and Friday. I know Philip and you would love to have you, and I know they'll do a fabulous job. So register for those. Thank you, guys.
Can you send me the thing to register for those ones?
Yep, we'll send it to you, Alicia.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. See ya.
Thanks.
Bye.